In the darkness before memory, there was silence. No cities, no empires, no monuments, only the vast wilderness and the whispers of wind through endless plains. But within that silence, a spark existed. A spark carried by a fragile, curious creature, us. For hundreds of thousands of years, humans wandered as hunter-gatherers, moving through forests, savannas, and icy tundras. They crafted tools from stone, built fires that danced in the night, and told stories beneath star-filled skies. And then, something changed. A revolution that would alter the course of humanity forever. Around 10,000 BCE, the world began to warm after the last ice age. Glaciers retreated, rivers swelled, and fertile lands emerged. In the valleys of the Tigris and Euphrates, the seeds of civilization were sown. Humans discovered that they could plant crops, domesticate animals, and stay in one place. Villages turned into towns, and towns into cities. This was the birth of the first civilizations. In Mesopotamia, today's Iraq, the Sumerians built some of the earliest known cities like Uruk and Ur. They invented cuneiform, one of the earliest writing systems, pressing wedge-shaped symbols into clay tablets to record laws, trade, and myths. Under their watch, irrigation canals fed fields of barley, and massive ziggurats stretched toward the heavens, symbols of humanity's growing power. Far to the west, along the Nile River, another civilization rose. Ancient Egypt flourished for over 3,000 years, a beacon of stability in a changing world. The Nile's annual floods brought life-giving silt, enabling farmers to produce surpluses that sustained monumental projects. Pharaohs ruled as living gods, commissioning pyramids that still tower over the desert today. Beneath the golden sun, thousands labored to align stone blocks with celestial precision, believing their work would ensure the ruler's journey to the afterlife. Hieroglyphs covered temple walls, telling tales of gods and kings, victories and dreams. Meanwhile, in the Indus Valley, modern-day Pakistan and northwest India, an equally remarkable society thrived. Cities like Mohenjo-Daro and Harappa were marvels of urban planning, with grid-patterned streets, advanced drainage systems, and standardized weights for trade. Though their script remains undeciphered, their cities speak of order and intelligence. While Mesopotamia waged wars and Egypt built tombs for eternity, the Indus Valley focused on harmony, trade, and hygiene, long before modern plumbing was imagined. Across the plains of northern China, along the Yellow River, the foundations of Chinese civilization took shape. Early dynasties like the Shah and Shang laid the groundwork for one of the world's most enduring cultures. Bronze vessels, oracle bones, and intricate rituals reveal a society deeply connected to its ancestors and the divine. Over centuries, this cradle would give rise to philosophies, inventions, and dynasties that shaped the world. By 1000 BCE, civilizations had spread far and wide. Kingdoms, empires, and cultures sprouted like constellations across the globe. In the Mediterranean, the ancient Greeks planted the seeds of philosophy, science, and democracy. Their city-states, Athens, Sparta, Corinth, were laboratories of human thought. In the marble courtyards of Athens, Socrates questioned everything, Plato dreamed of ideal societies, and Aristotle catalogued the natural world. Greek myths, filled with heroes and gods, echoed through temples and theaters. And as their ideas flourished, so too did their conflicts. The Persian invasions tested Greek unity, and the Peloponnesian War shattered it. Yet from the chaos emerged an empire under Alexander the Great. By his early 30s, Alexander had conquered lands from Greece to Egypt to India, blending cultures in a fusion that changed art, language, and trade forever. To the west, on the Italian peninsula, a small city began to grow into a titan, Rome, born from myth. Twin brothers Romulus and Remus raised by a she-wolf, it became a republic, then an empire. Roman legions marched across continents, building roads, aqueducts, and cities that still endure. Their laws, architecture, and language became the backbone of Europe for centuries to come. At its height, the Roman Empire stretched from the deserts of Arabia to the forests of Britain, from the Atlantic coast to the banks of the Euphrates. Pax Romana, the Roman peace, allowed trade and culture to flow freely, but beneath its surface were tensions, corruption, and power struggles that would eventually lead to its fall. Far across the ocean, civilizations rose independent of the Old World. In Mesoamerica, the Olmecs carved colossal stone heads, laying cultural foundations for the Maya and Aztecs. The Maya built cities deep in the jungle, where towering pyramids pierced the canopy. They charted the stars with astonishing accuracy, developed complex calendars, and recorded their history in glyphs. Meanwhile, in the Andean highlands, the Norte Chico, then the Mochi, and later the Inca-forged civilizations adapted to some of the harshest environments on Earth, building terraced farms on mountainsides and vast road networks through the Andes. Back in the Old World, history entered a new chapter. The rise of great empires would reshape humanity. The Persian Empire, under Cyrus the Great and later Darius, became a model of governance, tolerance, and infrastructure. They built the Royal Road, enabling swift communication across thousands of miles. Then came the Maurya Empire in India, under Chandragupta and his grandson Ashoka, who embraced Buddhism and spread its message across Asia. In China, the Qin dynasty unified warring states through brutal efficiency, standardizing weights, measures, writing, and even axle widths. Emperor Qin Shi Huang began the construction of the Great Wall to defend against northern invaders, a project that would span centuries. The Classical Age gave way to the rise of religions that would define civilizations for millennia. In the first millennium BCE, Hinduism matured, Buddhism emerged, Confucianism shaped East Asia, and Judaism took root in the Levant. Then, in the 1st century CE, Christianity was born from the teachings of Jesus of Nazareth, spreading from a small Roman province to become a global faith. Centuries later, in the 7th century, Islam emerged in the Arabian Peninsula, carried rapidly by armies, traders, and scholars across Africa, Asia, and Europe. These religions didn't just shape spiritual lives, they influenced laws, empires, and cultural identities. By the 5th century CE, the Western Roman Empire fell under pressure from internal decay and external invasions. Europe entered a period often called the Dark Ages, though light still shone in other corners of the world. In the Islamic Golden Age, cities like Baghdad, Cordoba, and Cairo became centers of learning. Scholars preserved Greek knowledge, advanced mathematics, pioneered medicine, and mapped the stars. Paper from China spread through the Islamic world to Europe, revolutionizing the way humans recorded knowledge. In Asia, the Tang and Song dynasties ushered in a golden era for China. Printing, gunpowder, and the compass were invented, changing the world forever. Japan, influenced by China, developed its own unique culture, from samurai codes to exquisite art forms. In Africa, great kingdoms like Ghana, Mali, and Songhai prospered through trade, especially in gold and salt. Timbuktu became a beacon of learning, home to libraries and universities that rivaled those of Europe. Then came the Middle Ages in Europe, a time of feudal lords, towering cathedrals, and crusades. Castles rose from hilltops, knights swore fealty, and the Catholic Church held immense power. Yet beneath the rigid hierarchies, change brewed. The Crusades opened channels between East and West, bringing spices, ideas, and new technologies. By the 14th century, Europe faced catastrophe. The Black Death swept across the continent, killing tens of millions, altering economies, and shaking faith. From this darkness emerged a rebirth, the Renaissance. In the cities of Florence, Venice, and beyond, artists, scientists, and thinkers looked back to the classical world and forward to new possibilities. Leonardo da Vinci sketched machines centuries ahead of his time. Michelangelo carved marble into emotion. Gutenberg's printing press spread knowledge faster than ever before. Human curiosity reignited, and with it came exploration. The age of discovery began as European powers sought new trade routes. In 1492, Christopher Columbus sailed west, unknowingly bridging two worlds. The Columbian Exchange began crops, animals, people, and diseases crossed oceans. Empires like Spain and Portugal expanded across the Americas, followed by the British, French, and Dutch. Indigenous civilizations faced devastation through conquest, disease, and colonization, forever altering their histories. As the world became connected through trade, conquest, and migration, power shifted again. The scientific revolution of the 16th and 17th centuries transformed understanding of the universe. Galileo's telescope peered at the stars, Newton described gravity, and explorers mapped the globe. Knowledge began to challenge tradition. In Europe, the Enlightenment sparked new political ideas about liberty, rights, and reason. By the late 18th century, revolutions erupted. In America, colonists declared independence from Britain. In France, a monarchy fell to the cry of liberty, equality, fraternity. The Industrial Revolution followed, first in Britain, then across the world. Steam engines roared, factories rose, and cities swelled. Humanity gained unprecedented power to shape its environment, but also unleashed pollution, exploitation, and vast social change. The 19th century saw empires expand to their greatest extents. Britain ruled a quarter of the globe, France built colonial empires in Africa and Asia, and new nations like Germany and Italy emerged. Railways and telegraph shrank distances, while ideologies like nationalism, socialism, and liberalism clashed and intertwined. Art and literature flourished, but so did imperial rivalries. Then, the 20th century arrived, a century of both unimaginable progress and unimaginable destruction. 2 world wars shattered empires and redrew borders. Millions perished in trenches, cities were bombed into ruins, and humanity unleashed nuclear weapons. Yet this same century saw the rise of modern medicine, the birth of flight, the space race, and the digital revolution. Colonies fought for independence, and new nations were born. The Cold War divided the world between superpowers, while revolutions in science, culture, and technology transformed daily life. By the end of the 20th century, humanity had walked on the moon, mapped the human genome, and connected the globe through the internet. Civilizations that once knew nothing of each other now shared information at the speed of light. Ancient walls gave way to digital networks, and now in the 21st century, the story continues. We live in a world shaped by every era that came before, by the farmers of Mesopotamia, the builders of Egypt, the philosophers of Greece, the engineers of Rome, the scholars of Baghdad, the explorers of Europe, and the inventors of the modern age. Our cities glow brighter than ever, our communication is instantaneous, and our reach extends beyond Earth itself. Yet the challenges remain immense: climate change, inequality, conflict, and questions about identity and survival. The history of human civilization is not a straight line. It is a vast tapestry woven with triumph and tragedy, invention and destruction, hope and fear. From scattered bands of hunter-gatherers to a global civilization capable of reshaping the planet, our journey has been nothing short of extraordinary. And the story is far from over. The civilizations of the future are being built right now by you, by me, by all of us. Every decision, every discovery, every act shapes what comes next. One day, people will look back on our time the way we look back at the pyramids or the Renaissance, wondering how we lived, what we dreamed, and what legacy we left behind. History isn't just about the past. It's the foundation of our present and the blueprint of our future. If you've enjoyed this journey through time, make sure to subscribe for more stories that reveal the hidden threads connecting us all. Because to understand where we're going, we must first understand where we've been.